갬빗이 저희에 대한 정보가 많이 없기 때문에 저희 쪽이 좀 많이 유리한 것 같아요.
갬빗이 아웃 경기를 펼치는 동안 그 경기를 지켜보면서 많은 분석과 준비를 할 수 있어서 저희에게 되게 유리한 입장에서 경기할 수 있을 것 같아요.
I think we do have the stage advantage. We will be less nervous than they are.
I don't think it gives advantage to anyone. Maybe to them a bit because they can research us.
Я бы не сказал, что решает то, что ты видел игру оппонента.
Думаю, нет. Победит сильнейший.
We have the advantage in a way that we are really warm right now and we are really prepared to play.
They can see a lot of what can we play right now.
Our strategies, our level 1.
They can find a weak spot and try to do something against it.
But for them, I'm not sure because they haven't ever faced a team that is not American. So I have no idea what in their minds right now.
Fnatic has the experience on us.
I don't think they have an advantage from going through group stage because although they got the experience of playing, we got to see what they played.
I think playing on the stage preemptively is a pretty big advantage.
So I think the advantage is that both teams have even out. So it'll just come down to who's a better team then.
Welcome back to the Season 3 World Championship. I'm Rivington Bisson III along with Sam, Kobe, Hartman, Kensler. We'll be calling the action for our next quarterfinal best of 3, Europe's Gambit versus Korea's Najin Black Sword. But before we get to the game, let's first send it down to the stage where Shox is waiting to introduce the starting lineups.
Thank you very much, Rivington. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce the starting lineups for this quarterfinal best of 3 series between Europe's Gambit and Korea's Najin Black Sword. Starting on the blue side, it's Gambit. In the top lane, the man who feeds to win, Darian. Starting in the jungle, the 2013 European All-Star, Diamond. In the mid lane, it's Gambit's captain, Alex Ish. In the dual lane, it's the AD carry with the highest KDA in Europe this summer, Genja. And at support, the newest member of Gambit, Voidal. Please give it up one more time for Europe's Gambit. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Please take your positions, have fun, and good luck. And starting on the red side, it's the Korean champions, Najin Black Sword. In the top lane, they call him Excalibur, and he's just as sharp, Expression. Starting in the jungle, it's his teammate's third summoner spell, Watch. In the mid lane, making his international debut, it's Nagne. Starting at AD carry, the 2013 Korean All-Star, Prey. And at support, the man who racked up 225 assists on his way to Worlds, it's Kane. Please give it up one more time for Korea's Najin Black Sword. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Please take your positions. Good luck and have fun. And now let's send it back over to Kobe and Riv for a close look at this matchup, guys.
Thank you very much, Shox. And coming into this quarterfinal matchup, there are plenty of people surprised that Gambit has made it so far into this Season 3 World Championship with, what they did on their own. And then coming in and faltering a little bit versus Vulcan, they've definitely turned on a different switch.
Yeah, I guess only Monty really picked them to come out of the group.
That's true, the Dark Horse, he had it right.
Dark Horse. But they tied for second, and they beat Korea's Ozone in a one-game playoff to win their way into this match.
And in the middle of all the action for Gambit is who else but Europe's all-star mid laner, Alex Ish.
Oh yeah, Alex came up clutch in their one-game tiebreaker against Ozone. Ozone let him have Kassadin, and he got 13 of his 52 group stage kills in that one match. I would be surprised if Najin Black Sword lets Kassadin through during this series because we just saw what European mids can do with that champion.
And Alex and Gambit have definitely stepped up their game since their late summer boot camp, but now they go toe-to-toe against Korea's #1 seed, Najin Black Sword.
This is the second trip in a row to Worlds for NBS. Last year, they got knocked out of the semifinals by the eventual champs, TPA. Black Sword earned Korea's #1 seed in this year's tournament by earning the most circuit points thanks to their victory at Champions Winter and 2 NLB titles, Spring and Summer.
Yep, and if Najin Black Sword wants to avoid a repeat of a performance of last year's World Championship, their all-star ADC Prey will have to carry.
There is this sort of consensus among AD carries that Prey is the best. His versatility makes him very hard to predict. You know, he switches back and forth between playing passive in lane and playing aggressive, which makes him very hard to counter, really. He's very, very situational. He's made his name, really, as well, using those Trinity Force AD carries. So he should be extremely comfortable on this particular patch.
And coming into today's quarterfinal matchup, Prey and Najin Black Sword know that if they want to shine in the series, they'll need to stop Gambit's Diamond from cutting up their lanes.
다이아몬드 선수는 되게 갬빗 게이밍에서 되게 잘하는 선수고 그 선수가 이끌어가는 흐름에 저희가 따라가지 않고 저희가 준비한 걸 할 수 있게끔 그런 노력이 필요할 것 같아요. 정글러가 실수를 하면 좀 이 게임에 미친 영향이 큰데 그 실수가 좀 되게 적어서 그런 점이 안정적이고 좀 새로운 메타를 많이 만들어내시잖아요. 그런 걸 많이 보고 배우기도 했고 굉장히 좋아했던 게이머이기도 해서 이번에 한번 꼭 붙어보고 싶었어요. 그래서 이번에 꼭 하게 돼서 좀 재밌는 경기를 했으면 좋겠어요.
It's always good to hear such words. I haven't seen much of him later, but I know that he's a cool guy, I see. Probably they were practicing as well. They could watch all our matches, like we could watch everything. We have something in our pockets, but let's see if it will be enough.
And ultimately, I think, you know, my favorite thing coming into this match is it is completely a learning experience for Gambit and as well as Najin to see what they can produce against, you know, the European meta. Coming into this, we saw Fnatic and Gambit both move out of the same group without buy. So Europe's coming into this one very strong.
Yes, especially the mid game or the mid laners from Europe. We'll have to see if Najin can actually handle that. Really, though, I love always focusing on the jungles.
Of course you do.
This little matchup here, though, is very interesting because, like we just saw in the video, you know, everybody knows Diamond has been a world-class jungler for a very long time. But watch, you know, right now in Korea, he's at the top of the solo queue ladder. He's widely regarded as having extremely strong mechanics, but there's not a lot of actual footage that people can use, you know, to study his paths and come up with counter ganks or get his tendencies down before they come up in the match. Meanwhile, Najin Black Sword, not only have they seen Gambit's games already here at Worlds, but they've also brought their sister team, Najin Shield, to practice with. I don't know if you know, people are bringing that up, but they've got a guaranteed scrim partner. As much as they want to practice, they can.
And also another factor that goes into their favor, the analyst desk was talking about, the two mid laners, Nagane or Song, depending on which one they want to go with. We've seen a few teams kind of have interchangeable players, and it's worked out for a few. Some have left them on not the bench, but on the side to just continue analyzing and continue giving information. But that's an option they also have. So in this game, if they do come out strong, they can't switch between the series, but if they go through winning, they still have the option to change the mid.
And that, you know, it kind of makes me wonder, because we already talked about how strong European mids are. They're definitely satisfied with Alex. They're like, yes, we're happy with Alex going up against anyone that you have. But is it because Najin Sword have, you know, they think that Song is weak that they've brought this other sub in, or is it because you know, they just have two different styles and they're two different sets of champion pools and they're trying to bring more mind games into it? If it is any sort of weakness in the mid laner, then Gambit will take advantage.
We can always speculate, but we are about to see quite soon. On the other hand, we've seen multiple interviews with Alex Ish, you know, saying, they gave me Kassadin, and though a lot of people might have given me flack on social media or have previously, I proved them wrong. And the thing that really impressed me that he said on that is, when I get a champion like that, it's okay for me and the rest of the team. We can all play a little bit safer, know that he's going to be as strong as he can on a champion that's in his top tier champion pool. And that's huge to have. If you have that to fall back on, then you don't have to worry about what a team you don't know is going to do in their strategy.
Yeah, it really is interesting how big the champion pool is for pretty much all of these European mid laners. Not only are they very good, but they've got so many champions to choose from, very hard to ban out.
And it's different too, because you can put that mid laner on an assassin, or you can say, no, he's going to be utility for the team. So the change, like we've been saying in European, their game style, is that's how they do it. They completely go for different styles in a lane that has won them the last game. They say, oh, let's focus out Alex this game, but it's going to be Darian or Diamond that's going to carry that one for you. But
the other thing that's good for Gambit is they've been playing on this stage before. We already talked about it.
That's true. It
right
seems
now,
to be a big thing.
It's taking them, a while to set up because Najin Black Sword, they, all of the practice that they've had and all of the scouting that they've had, they haven't played on this stage before. So that might actually come into the factor in this game as well.
And it's interesting that we've had, as Double has said, such an impressionable tournament. Korea picking up a little bit of Aatrox here, as well as China's play in the jungle, as well as this is Gambit's use in the jungle and top lane of Aatrox.
Yeah.
So that's could be between both teams, although we don't know anything about Najin coming into this one. So that's the learning experience that we're coming into. However, players say that if you don't have anything to go off of, how are you going to attack it?
Yeah, if they've been watching a lot of Gambit's games, then they'll notice in the history, revive passives really good against Gambit.
Pick Zac and don't let revive passives get
the
through.
Z mistake from Diamond that he likes to call it, not banning Zac or Zed. We'll have to see if they actually prioritize that. Gambit, they're really a team that practices their style, and they don't look too much at their opponents anyway, though. So if they mostly focused on themselves, then we'll probably see this first game will be a very good litmus test to see how these two teams will match up.
And let's talk a little bit about that bot lane as well. Prey being regarded as one of the top 80 carries coming out of Korea. Yeah. And he's now going up against Genja, who has shown us the Triforce Kog'Maw build coming in. Tried his hand at Misfortune, tried his hand at Corki, so he's kind of opened up that Misfortune pool again for himself. It'll be, I don't think they're going to want to match up against that lane, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Both these teams do like to fight.
So I think that you're right. The Triforce AD carries are going to be very, very hotly contested in this game because while, Prey's got a long history with them, Genja's been very outspoken about how much he loves that item.
I'll build it on everybody.
Yeah.
Build it on everyone. Ooh.
Okay.
Expression loses his Jax. And this is that, hey, this is my top lane patch. 311, you might want to ban out my champions.
We talked about Trinity Force already. The top lane Trinity Force champions haven't made a huge showing here at Worlds.
They could.
But Expression is definitely known for that. And by the way, there's no R in that name. So when we
There is no You say it around people when you're talking, and then they're like, oh yeah, he's talking about Expression. And you're like, wait, it's no art, it's Expression.
Ooh, no Kassadin though either.
The Eve ban as well, which has only found its way into the hands of Diamond a few times throughout the tournament.
That's interesting because that's sort of a shared champion between these two junglers. Both of them like to get a lot of ganks off early here. Watch definitely likes to constantly gank his lanes extremely early for extra pressure on them to get his lanes rolling.
Yeah.
Take out summoners, just get a good trade down, large chunk of health out of that lane opponent, and then return to the fog of war.
It's crazy to continuously see Kassadin banned here. You think, no, Riv, it's not because he's winning. But in Korea, that's considered, Kassadin has a lot of bad matchups, so he just really isn't played. But they're showing the respect of what Europe has brought out with Kassadin, and it was actually first banned from Najin.
So maybe, the earlier games that Gambit played, where Alex was successful on that Kassadin, has actually helped them. And it's got them a ban here from
that's absolutely true. That's a good way to look at it. Another pick for them to come out in a champion pool he just showed. Somewhat just showed. He's been doing it for a while. Expression picking up the Ahri. So mid lane, as we said, and have said it before, this is a mid lane centric tournament, and it gets top tier for Najin.
It's good to point out as well. We have the sort of sub middle here for Najin Sword. It is Nagne. He's only played 2 games, and that was in the NLB. Both games were Ahri. So this is definitely a go-to champion here for Nagne. He's going to be very happy with that Ahri. But they had to trade the first pick Shen away for that, which Gambit definitely has a very high value on that. For Darian, it's right up there with that Aatrox. Top 2.
It allows Darren to fight. And as Shock said, feed to win. He can do whatever you want. You still get Stand United if you're down in kills. Sona getting picked up with the Varus as well. Some pretty normal pickups here. Voidal, I believe, has Sona at least 80% of his games here in the Worlds.
Now, Prey mousing over that Twitch. He's got a lot of Twitch games under his belt as well. If it's not a Trinity Force AD carry, then it's a lot of Twitch.
Bringing back the League of Draven. But I don't think so. They're hovering Nunu. Draven right now expecting the goes to get switched out, and maybe the Twitch, the kill potential coming out there, but they do lock in the Nunu.
All right.
I like this.
So, Watch now has a very high potential for counter jungler because
just a bit.
Not going to be a support Nunu there. We've already got Thresh locked in. It's going to be a Thresh and Twitch lane. And like I said, this Twitch is banned out all the time against Prey. Definitely, all of these champions really for Najin Sword, they're getting the champions that they're very, very comfortable with. And I guess this, this is that unfamiliarity with the team that's coming into play for them.
And whenever a Fizz is picked, that means there will be plays made. That's just how Fizz is. Very cool to see a Fizz coming up for Alex in this game. But you're right. We are seeing the Nunu going to have that counter jungling. Possibly seeing Najin Sword going for the invade on that blue with the 2v1 top lane if they can squeeze it in. They're already setting things into motion.
And, Gambit right there, picking the Fizz after that RA, they obviously are very familiar with any of these mid-lane matchups.
Right.
A lot of time in Europe, people will just give over Ahri so if Fizz is still left open so that they can use it as a counter pick. I think it's more of a soft counter for me. Some people are go both ways on this one, but it's really all up to Alex. If he's able to dodge all those skill shots, then that really takes all of Ahri's punch out of the game here. So he's going to have to hold on to that playful trickster. We've seen in the last game, Hai actually a lot of times was using it to farm.
Yeah.
Because he maxed that first and used the area of effect damage to farm,
It's
and
scary
then he paid for it.
using your escape to farm. Probably a problem.
This is interesting maps over here because Expesin is one of the few top laners nowadays that plays carry top laners. He's
It's been a
very,
while.
very strong mechanical player, so he has the ability to use carries up in that top lane.
Very heavy on the AP side coming from Najin to start this match off. We do see that Diamond picked up Elise in the jungle. He's favored that towards the past 3 or 4 games that they'd have, but I'd have to say Diamond has one of the most versatile jungle setups that he's had. Aatrox, Evelynn, Xin Zhao, Lee Sin. He's definitely been helping the team keep a variety in there, and really hard to ban now. So with these picks and bans down, it's going to be Najin versus Gambit as we go in to our next matchup. Kobe, what are you thinking about these compositions right now, seeing that much AP from Najin?
It's pretty AP heavy, but really most of this tournament has been AP heavy teams from both sides here. What's really interesting is that Diana right now is holding on to teleport, and Diana is really a very much all-in champion. She's pretty easy to gank already because she's melee and she has to get up there. So we'll have to see whatever jungler is able to have an effect on the top lane that have the Shen global and the Diana with her teleport. I think that team's going to come out with a pretty big edge because those are both melee champions. They both can set up ganks very well. So there's the potential for a lot of action.
We'll see what they have for each other as the teams load into the match. Let's check out which squad the fans think is stronger. According to LOLesports.com, it's a close one. 56% think that Najin Black Sword will win their way into the semifinals. The analysts also say Najin.
Yeah, all the analysts said Najin there. The audience definitely a lot more split. I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup. We talked about the jungles. It's going to be a jungle Nunu though. Anytime he's in the game, it puts a lot more pressure onto the opponent because they have to worry about those buffs. You can't just rely on your smite to even secure your own buffs because he's got much more true damage that he can come in with. And Diamond specifically is a jungler who hates any sort of jungle invades. If there's ever vision inside of Gambit's jungle, he will call down pink wards from all over and clear that thing
Call it
out.
down from the satellites. All right, we are into the game. Who is going to be making it on to the semifinals? We are under our second quarterfinal match here. Gambit versus Najin. This is a best of 3. We'll see what can be done. We have had Gambit going through these best of 1s through the group stage. They are warm. We saw what that provided for Fnatic versus Cloud9 in our previous matchup. We'll see if Najin can prevent that damage.
Najin, we also have the Nunu here starting with a ward of his own. It's always very important as a Nunu to make use of the potential that you have for counter jungling because later in the game, he doesn't scale that well. He's basically turns into another support. and they're going to rely on that blood boil and Prey to really hard carry this later. A lot of pressure is going to be on Prey in the mid and late game to be the main source of damage.
A little bit of burst there, got 300 altogether, but they are going to get the wards they want, and they will not be contested on it. Prey will back. It seems like if they're backing, we're going to get that 2v1 towards the top lane. They're not just going to hover down to that bottom side. Genja just on the outside, waiting patiently, and smart as well.
Interesting how we have this combination from Najin's sword with Diana can go in and suck everyone into a small area with her Moonfall.
A little vacuum.
And then we'll have Prey with the spray and Prey with being able to get off all those AoE auto attacks. Late game's looking very interesting for Najin's sword. Meanwhile, Gambit have pretty much a similar style here. They've got the mid laner who's looking for picks, that Fizz Assassin, and they also have the top laner with the global presence.
Really putting a lot of focus on that. Wow, Nagane already. He actually takes Charm level 1 here as they went on the invade and uses that to harass. So Alex is going to be a little bit down in health. He brought the consumables to lane. He has not started to chug those, as he heard me.
Getting a little thirsty there. We've seen again the side laner here, Expression. He's starting with a camp first, not going into the lane to get zoned. So he's going to be up a little bit of experience and gold. We have to check now because if Genja and Voidal, want to shove that one in, we haven't seen really anyone do it. Crepo and Double have talked about 2 ways to do it. You can just come out straight away, right out of the gates, and try and shove your lane really, really fast to get it first into turret if you know your opponent is going to go do a camp like that. But we haven't seen anyone at the tournament actually pull that off.
Wow, that's really great play from Darian in the top lane, knowing the durability of his champion actually reaches level 2 along with, and before, Kane. As he was getting pressured out of lane, we've heard Voyboy in that situation say, take Wolves, you're going to miss 2 waves, but Darian definitely keeping his levels up. That's going to help for that level 6.
Darian has showed already a couple of sneaky strategies to get just inside of experience
in the brush.
range.
So good.
Yeah, in that top lane. One time hiding in the brush. This time he was just sitting on the very edge. And you just really have to know the range of experience from dying minions. Looks like we do have jungler pressure from both of them here.
Good call by Watch to come down. The buddy system necessary here to stop some damage on the bottom turret. But this means Darian is not going to be dove in the top lane. He is quite safe. And the experience is going to be soaked up by all 3 here in the bottom.
They are getting a little bit of tower damage here.
It's back and forth. They're still working with that 8-minute armor.
Yeah, down in the bottom Gambit, they're a little bit ahead. But Darian's losing life rapidly. He's already chugged his single health potion that comes with that Doran shield. So from now on, it's just the passive regen that he's getting.
If he can get it on last hit Vorpals, you get the health a little bit quicker. But he's going to have to be really careful with the amount of poke and control in that lane.
Meanwhile, look at this mid lane. Alex is up in CS over Ahri, just crushing right now. There's another wave coming for Nagne, and he's doing a pretty good job last hitting under the turrets. But Alex jumping out to a very good start here. That is very scary. Anytime you see a Fizz getting an early lead, it's a similar thing to seeing a Kassadin get an early CS lead.
In and out, seeing he's definitely respecting the HP mana bar of Nagne. He does not want to be taken by surprise. You see the junglers still back in base. Diamond now at Wolves, so nothing coming from them too soon. But with that charm, do you think the charm early affected the farming, or do you think Alex has just been able to zone? Because we haven't been watching mid too much, but first level Q farm isn't going to take your waves away.
Yeah, Orba Deception is a little bit better harassed, but Nagne did land a charm.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I would say it would be detrimental if he hadn't landed one, but he got okay harassed on here.
All right, so we see the top lane hovered in by Darian now. He's going to bring in some safety, trying to match Watch on this one. Watch coming to the bottom lane, soaking that 2v3 experience up. May got ahead a little bit, but Diamond's doing a good job now at level 5 in the jungle. 23 to 13 CS there too, so lanes and even the jungle are ahead here.
And we did sort of talk about how Nunu turns into a secondary support here. Right now he's coming down to help Expression. They shove the lane up to try and get to reset into the turret. And just because of the way the minions got back to lane, it is going to be shoving slightly in their favor. Expression going to be zoned out a little bit from this experience, though.
We can see Najin trying to make everything work. You know that's not an easy gank on a Fizz. That's a walk-in from both, and he can just playful trickster out. So looks like Watch decides to back off on this one. He will return to his jungle. Spirit Stone on both sides, so he can continuously go back to these lanes. He doesn't really have to go back just yet. But with the moves of Diamond, he may have to start pressuring a little more as well.
The kill potential right now in the mid lane is pretty much all for Alex, because unless Alex goes aggressive, there's nothing that a Nunu gank is going to do. He really doesn't have to worry right now. And since Alex is winning the CS war, he doesn't have to get risky, go aggressive, look for those early kills, because he's already really just crushing Nagne in CS.
It works out well for him. I guess if we look at the CS and looked at, you know, the second Doran's was bought.
Oh, he missed.
Big pressure from Alex there coming in. It's when Nagne had the back for that second ring, really, that Alex started to get that gap in the CS and put him behind. Nagne now at 6. Alex realizes he has to go back, but that's going to be 20 CS later. Darian, one more shot. The True comes in. The flash attack coming in from Kane. They pick up first blood on the support.
And they're going to get the turret after this. Large amount of global gold swinging here for Najin Sword. They also have the opportunity now to switch their duo down bottom and get Expesson out of that 2 versus 1. His tower down there still at over half life. So this isn't even close to a trade right now.
He's done well, keeping his CS up. 23-21 for those top laners of Shen and Diana right now. They are, and it does look like they're going to swap the lanes, but during this, they may even try to go for that dragon. Actually, we see that Watch, Nagne are backing, so it looks like it may just be the lane swap.
That is just really perfect timing to get that turret as well for Najin Sword, because now they can bring their AD carry and support back down so to get them dragon control. This is very, very huge for them. The 8-minute dragon is already pinked, and they're going to have not only all 5 members down there, but a new jungle. His smite's not actually up right now, but he does have consume, and he is heading down towards it.
Yeah, they definitely put the chess pieces in place. Smart of Nagne and Watch to both back and get a few extra items, picking up the chalice, getting themselves some more wards so they can cover this area. Now with those chess pieces in place, they can begin to move. The dragon will be danced, and Gambit looks like they will contest it.
Well, Darian's got to stand united.
A lot of wards.
Right now, Gambit are calling for Darian to shove his lane as hard as possible. They want to delay Najin Sword around this dragon, get as much advantage up in that top lane. If Darian can shove that wave into the turret before Expesson gets there, it'll be a pretty decent win for them.
Very interesting to see Najin back off after placing so much golden wards. You can see the pinks already coming out. Sub 10 minutes in the game. They have 5 going across the map and right on that objective that they want to take quite soon.
Now we do have Diamond coming in, sitting on Gambit's pink ward in the bottom lane. If they can get him ganked for pressure. Wow, right out of the playful Trickster.
Got him on the Trickster, goes in. It's from the waters out on the Nagne, but the burst isn't there. They see Shen to start to come in. Nagne gets it up. There's the attack. They pull it around. The teleport now coming in from Expesson. Is he there? It's going to be Darian and the safety for Alex.
The teleport taking way too long to come in from Expesson. Really good answer there. Darian's got Alex's back, and he turns that gank around. Anytime you look for a 1 versus 1 situation, you have to keep in the back of your mind that Shen Stand United is available there. Even though it was a great pick from Nagne, you know, he definitely didn't want what he caught there.
All right, so most of these pink wards for Najin are going to be going down towards 11 minutes rather, but Gambit placing their own at pink, trying to stop that. Gold quite even here within 500. That first turret is in the top lane, so it's not so much affecting the game, but really giving Darian time to farm up and get where he wants to be.
Expesson does not have the teleport summoner.
Right, just use that for mid, yeah.
The cooldown, no, the cooldown reduction for it, the mastery. So it also, that's why it takes so long for him to actually arrive there. And look at the build here from Alex as well. After that kill, you know, he's going full early damage right now. As high damage as he could have at this point. Just rushing those spell penetration boots as well as the sheen. This is not how High built him last game here. He's going for straight burst potential.
This is very Gambit-esque. They didn't get there in time for the blue, but they are going to say, we want to fight right now. We have that crescendo. Yeah, Stand United maybe down, but we have the... Oh my gosh, going in the control. Watch down right away. Prey on the outside is completely zoned and forced to walk back in the fight, but his team is going the other way. This could be a great re-engage coming in. Nagane throwing down the last part of the ultimate. The charm misses on the outside, but they do get the Orb of Deception and Expunge Kill going down into Darien, 1 for 1.
We also just saw a little bit, a little preview of that Moonfall into Prey, Spray and Pray there, getting some good area of effect damage.
Now, Najin with that pressure, losing Dragon. They want to put damage onto the turret, but a lot of Gambit is actually still here. Genja very low on mana. Looks like they won't be able to do too much here. Alex may trying to communicate with the team. They may try to save on the repel. Kane takes quite a bit of damage there, but another member showing up. Nagane just on the outside causes
They got Diamond's flash out of that after, too. We've seen how dangerous Ari Charms at tower sieges can be, especially in the SKT1 game. Really good job here by Najin Sword taking the turret after. Gambit really need to back off.
And you can tell how much strength Gambit has still in this game. Losing 2 turrets, they're only down 200 gold because their lane's doing so well. 95 to 78 in that mid lane. 54 from Diamond to Watch's 35. He's definitely playing that support role for Nunu.
And Darien doing a good job of last sitting under turret, too.
Yeah, absolutely. 70 to 58.
Large stack of minions right there. It's good for Gambit that they got that Dragon, because having all this extra turret pressure for Najin Sword is going to mean that it's a little bit harder for them to pull off the picks. They need to start getting these outer turrets down in order for Alex to be able to make use of his roam and his early damage build that he's going.
You can see Prey, 12 minutes into the game, doing quite well for himself, picking up the Blade of the Ruin King. He has quite a team of dive buddies within Darien Diamond trying to get him right in the beginning of the fight. We saw that Alex Ish actually caused him to flash out of the fight with Chum the Waters last time, so the focus is there from Gambit. They're using their dive composition quite well. Najin, we can see the re-engage coming from Expression. The teleport has been big in these fights, and Nagane has actually been holding that Spirit Rush for quite a long time, so it's almost like they're allowing Gambit to expend everything they have before they even want to try fighting.
Yeah, you mentioned, Alex forcing Prey out of that fight, and we saw how Alex just obliterated Watch.
Yeah,
too.
In the beginning.
With the early damage here. There's a small window right now as well where Darien has Stand United and Expression does not have his teleport up. So the possibility of any sort of ganks here for Najin Sword would be, again, it would turn out the same way the mid happened last time Nagane went aggressive, where Gambit have the extra man to come in and back up.
It looks like not everyone, but at least Expression and Nagane kind of building as a unit here, building that penetration for Boots early after the Chalice, and then the Abyssal Scepter to come out from Expression so they can both itemize well into damage for the magic.
I do like stacking that heavy flat penetration.
Yeah.
Because at this stage in the game, there's no magic resist having been built on Gambit. Flat penetration, extremely effective here. I like that they're also only building one, whereas, Nagane, he's not building one for himself either. They're getting that single one on Diana, make use of the aura, and their team fight with all that magic damage is going to be very important. Meanwhile, they can rely on Prey's AD to be the sole AD threat here, and that allows them to build this flat penetration instead of percentage, because they know Gambit won't itemize towards it very heavily.
Let's see, only 2 kills on the board, 14 minutes in. Both teams respecting what has been happening, the movement, and really not knowing if they've been on wards. It's Pink Ward's fight. We haven't seen any of the oracles come out yet, and anybody try to take too much control, because they know they're only within hundreds of gold of each other.
Because it's so close right now, it really depends on the next team fight. If Gambit win, there's actually more gold up on the map for them to take.
Right,
because
that's true.
These turrets are still standing, so there's basically almost, around 2k extra global gold for Gambit to take after a one team fight. But if they lose, then they're not going to get that chance, and they still don't have the map pressure because of those outer turrets.
It's really something to consider is when you go hard. That turret armor is gone. They're going to be able to pressure down mid hard. We saw SKT take multiple turrets in a row yesterday, just kind of blowing everyone's mind. So it definitely depends on when you win that fight, the impact of core items coming out. Lich Bane is finished for Alex. Yeah. This is going to be big damage for him. We already saw him zeroing out Watch within a matter of seconds, if even.
We talked about, not much magic resist here on Gambit, but you're right. Prey, who's the target here, doesn't have any magic resist of his own. He's going to rely on that heal from his Blade of the Ruined King, but that's going to be reduced by Alex's active there.
Yeah, that's true.
On his Seastone Trident. So he'll have no problem blowing up Prey if he can catch him.
Well, we'll see where they can go from here. Still with 2 turrets down on Najin's side. The gold is practically even within just a few bits. There it is, equaling out. 16 minutes in. Both of the teams still communicating quite well. Nobody has fallen into that pit. It seems like they are all organized and rotating together at this point. So moving into the mid, we do see Voidal start to focus there. Should have Genja joining them soon, but nobody wants to make the move here. It's going to be 3 seconds for the next dragon, and that's what all eyes are on.
The next fight here is going to be explosive. Both of these teams are very similar in what they're trying to pull off.
They don't even hesitate.
Ari going to be looking for the pick on the outside, but you have to keep your eyes on Alex.
Wait.
Oh, there's the Shen.
Expression goes in with his ultimate, but he got the cooldown by using it. Voidal getting hurt quite bad. They are going into the fight. Kane is right in the middle. Watch is so low, they could get ticked down here. Gambit pulls themselves together after the AoE is gone. Oh, the piercing arrow from Genja. Expression on the side. Genja, do you have it? It's going to be Alex Ish trying to get over the wall. He gets it. Boom, right to the side. Triple kill coming in for Alex. Nagane tries to get the charm down to the flash over the wall, but nothing catches. It's going to be a 2 for 4, and it's going to be Dragon for Gambit.
Such a sweet little move right there by Genja at the end of the fight to aggro the dragon, effectively turning that dragon pit into a very dangerous situation for Najin because they have to get out. The extra damage becomes... Okay, it's a good box
what
right
a
in the
chain
middle,
of corruption.
but it actually... Wow. Right there with the Nunu ultimate. And right now, I thought it was great for Najin because Prey got out after Alex tried to go all in on him. This charm onto Darien. Oh, the snipe does finish him off. Prey goes down in the end for Alex's second round of Playful Trickster. And this is where Expression has to leave the Dragon Pit because it's attacking him right now. Only right into Alex's loving arms.
18 minutes in, Kobe. You were pretty right. That was going to be an explosive fight. It came out huge. Both teams were sitting at 2-2 previously. Now 6-4 just a few minutes later in a 2,000 gold lead, the biggest one we've had yet in the game. But both these teams are still into that. Gold lead almost doesn't mean anything just yet. It does mean, though, that Gambit can somewhat dictate the game and move where they want to.
You know what it means? It means a needlessly large rod on Alex Fizz. That on top of the Lichbane is a giant amount of damage. Lichbane just means that Fizz scales even harder because there's effectively another AP ratio on that champion. And he is going to have no problem, even half a rotation probably, is going to be able to blow up his intended target.
Oh, Genja. I thought Genja was going to get poked on in that bottom lane, but it's the side that Prey and Watch both heading back towards the top. They are considering now moving fully as a team, and they want to put some pressure down on this mid turret.
Yeah, you're right to be worried because Genja has been caught out before when he's down in the side lane, just farming like that without vision. And Twitch is the AD carry. That's the one that'll make it happen. If anyone's going to go up and pull one of those sneak attacks, Twitch with Blade of the Ruined King is a good option. But Prey doesn't want to overextend himself. Darien, however, gets caught here. Half his life already gone.
I'm going to say 4 or 5 spells is worth the ward. Darien gets out. His HP, though, not so much worth that. Should be safe. Stand United will be coming up soon. So if he bases right now, it's not going to be too terrible, but they want to keep all that pressure there for the mid turret. We have to recognize Alex 4-0-2 in this game. With every kill on Najin going across their entire team. First blood was actually onto Kane as well with that flash. So the gold isn't exactly going where they want it, but they're getting a few kills.
The next team fight too is going to be very interesting because Fizz is so hard to peel for your AD carry, but they have to at this point because Alex has so much damage. So what you want to see if you're a Najin fan is Kane spreading out far away from Prey in the team fight. Usually you want your... Oh, Prey's going in for a kill here. Darien definitely caught.
Yep. Continue.
Okay, so Darien's going to die here. But anyway, what we were what we were talking about is the Prey and Kane interaction in the team fights. They actually want the support to spread out away from his AD carry so that he can throw a long-range Dark Passage as soon as Alex commits to Prey's initial position. And then once Prey's able to reposition next to Kane, then they can throw up the box. And then he can try and use that to peel for prey. Other than that, it's going to be very hard for him to avoid this Fizz and Shen and Elise combo that Gambit are packing.
See what the movement is right now. The pink wards have subsided from both teams. We can only see one on the map now, and a lot of the wards have subsided. Actually, one on the top side there for Gambit as they hover off of it. So they're keeping themselves quite privy to the vision of what is going on inside of Najin. Voidal picking up an Oracle for himself. I believe Kane has one as well. He does not, so they're still resorting on the blue site stone as well.
I think that, you know, the way that, it's always hard to tell what Genja's thinking, but the way he's itemizing right now, I'm pretty sure that Gambit are just saying, I'm sorry, Genja, we're going to leave you in the back line. We're going to go dive prey. You need to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
So he's gone with this second item already, very
Whoa,
early.
He gets caught out by Prey. Chain of Corruption goes down perfectly. And there it is. Darian spot on with the Stand United. The reinitiate. The engage
Dark
coming
Passage
in.
is gone
Prey
already.
gets destroyed. And you're right. The Lantern goes down for safety of everyone. It was used defensively and not even a bit on the offensive side.
So Genja right there, early Negatron Cloak pays off. He was able to survive due to his flash as well as the barrier and Stand United shields coming in. Everything going to save Genja right there. He was able to survive. Prey, not so lucky, didn't have that Dark Passage to rely on getting him a long distance. It was already used, and he was just fish food.
Scary for Genja. I think he won't let that happen again. He will know not to stay out in the open. Prey, however, making a move that needed to happen here for Najin. We haven't seen too much since any of the Dragons. That would have really been the first straight on play. It would have put them at 7-6, but right now 7-5, holding off that kill, and still just about a 2,000 gold lead. Almost 3,000 coming in here for Gambit.
Gambit are definitely feeling pretty good about this mid game so far. Like we said, all of the outer turrets are still available for them to take when they win a decisive team fight. So a decisive team fight for them means a huge swing in this. It's not just the kill money that they're going to go after.
So they're leaving Prey in the bottom lane now to farm it out. And it's going to be somewhat of a pressure here from Gambit, but they decide to back off. Still slow movement.
The Alex over here has completed his Zanya's Hourglass, so he has that really, really dangerous combination on Fizz. He's just pulling some... He just wanted to show off.
He was tired from taking down Golem.
He actually decided that he wanted to go farm that side wave and didn't want to hop over the wall. That was all planned. Meanwhile, the Dragon getting started because he showed in the top lane farming that wave.
This is good for Najin. They will be able to put a bit of money back on the board.
Hooks a little
spider grab.
Eat it.
Those will annoy you sometimes.
All right, so Alex right there going for the farm blob instead of Dragon means that the team actually loses out some global gold. But now they're going to want to answer. Alex does have double buffs right now, though.
Oh, that Lich Bane. Wow. They have a lot of possibilities to take down turrets here. The siege, siege stop, not spectacular from Najin. They have to use a few of those abilities that will really leave them in the open to be attacked, but they should be able to hold this off quite well, at least with Watch being there under the turret. Always the possibility for an absolute zero disengage, so safe, but Gambit looking for blood.
Oh, Alex really wants to dive here. Now, lucky for Najin, they actually have Expesin who he's targeting, and Expesin has built the early magic resistance because he got the Abyssal Scepter for his team. He's also heading into an Hourglass of his own.
Oh,
so he will be tanky.
Word.
I mean, they have Oracles and they have Vision, but this is a 25
They know they can dance it.
It's a lot of damage to tank
and this
out here.
You have to realize this, right? This is a team saying we're stronger than you. We can outfight you right now. Let's do this.
Well, normally Gambit right now would be looking for picks in the jungle, but because they haven't taken any turrets, it's hard for them to get that vision. Najin, they have these outer turrets that are doing a lot for them. You know, now that the mid is down, Gambit can sort of start to get control of these side areas of the jungle. But right there, Gambit were forcing them over to the Baron area because that's as far out as they can actually draw Najin's sword.
It's really interesting. This is the point in the game where you win a fight and you realize that all your minion waves aren't in a position you want. Najin trying to move into position.
Oh, he got
the flash onto Prey. The cleanse was just up though. He gets himself to safety. The dark passage is down. This is what helped Prey get to safety. Very good plays. Alex puts himself in the middle of the fight, going for Kane, but he gets taken down. Great spirit rush and focus by Nagane.
I actually think after Gambit got Prey's flash, they should have gotten out. It's not worth a kill onto Nunu. You should definitely take the win. Taking out Prey's flash means that he is very, very vulnerable to Alex. So actually re-engaging there on Nunu, even though it was a pretty easy kill on Nunu,
right?
Not the best of trades for Gambit because they had to give up Alex for it. Oh no, Genja's gonna eat it.
Prey walks right on a Genja, but there's the Stand United coming in. The taunt to come out, and that is a dead Prey. Buff transfer to Genja secured.
Darien still with the Stand United up.
Not something you would expect after that fight.
Well, I didn't
but that goes to show how chaotic the fights are, because they didn't know it was still up. Najin had no idea.
That was a huge win, though, for Gambit, because like we said earlier, Prey is definitely the backbone of this team right now. If he's down, they have full reign of the map.
3-1 in turrets. Not looking good for Gambit, as you said, in that map vision. Having these turrets on the outside pushes the lanes, gives Najin places to run to if things go awry. And right now they're using it to their advantage, having that pressure on to drag, or Baron rather. They just pressure down mid, get themselves a turret. Not picking up any kills lately.
You know, Najin Sword, because that Stand United was used, now they're the ones with the teleport, so they can can make use of the split
Persistent.
push. Which is what they're doing. They've got Expression split pushing, but Gambit, they are going to call the bluff here. Burning this dragon down. It's going down really quick. Watch this Nunu, though.
No, man.
Really good at stealing.
Consume Feast.
Oh,
he got it so big. Darian's going to be able to take them out, but they stop that gold lead. That puts the golden exactly even with the Baron steal.
Why in the world would you rush the Baron against Nunu? Really well played by Watch right there, though. You have to shout him out. You can't say anything bad about him. He comboed the Consume and
Was
Smite.
he in range?
He comboed that pretty well. Okay, we'll have to look at a slow replay.
He got it.
He flashed in. He was almost in there for that, but he definitely got it with the Smite.
Yeah.
Alex in trouble. He has used his Zanyas in the Baron pit.
Woo! A little bit of trickster there.
Beautiful steal there by Watch. Just got Najin right back into this game. Up in gold, and they're wearing the Baron buff. All right, slow-mo, see if he actually bites it. No, it was just Smite. Okay.
He just smited it.
So he just got the Smite there. That was just pure outplay on Watch's part.
Very good plays coming in here, and like we said, it was necessary. We saw Prey over at 22 minutes trying to get that kill onto Genja. Then we saw more. Watch had to do that for his team. They were down in gold. They've now picked up the lead there. The turrets have always been in their favor, and they're now able to spread themselves a little bit more thin. We've seen Expression in this top lane for the past minute or so. They're getting the pressure that they want.
They did actually use his teleport in that that Baron bluff right there. He canceled it, so it was half duration on it, but it still is on cooldown here for the next while. Good thing for Najin Sword, they have the Baron buffs, so Gambit are very, very scared to go for an all-out engage, and they'll probably rather just hope for picking someone off here.
And Najin really has to create this for themselves. Nothing is going to come to them right now. Gambit knows they're a little bit behind. The ward's already coming out before they even cross into any fog of war right now, so Najin still putting the pressure on, has a few minutes left on this Baron, and is going to force that down middle.
Gambit getting a little bit of that standing gold back with the top turret that was so low. But Alex, he needs to get back here.
He sees it. Nope,
I mean,
maybe not.
Expressen's got his Zanyas, so the possibility of a turret dive is there. But once he uses that, someone else is going to be taking the turret. And it's actually not the best of situations to go for the dive with. Gambit are calling this bluff right now.
This is actually pretty good for Alex. He's got some good damage with that Lich Bane. He is just knocking that turret down right now, and nobody's going to answer. Dragon for turret, but the mid waves are going to start pressuring. This is setting, as we say before, the chess pieces in order for Gambit to do something more after their fights, which they've been kind of on the heels after.
Okay, he used his playful trickster to farm there, so he's not going to engage on Expessen. And it's actually a rotation down for Najin Sword.
Wow.
They're going to farm all three lanes right now.
That is an attack speed twitch right now, along with the Nunu. They are going to be able to drop turrets a little faster than you might think. It's got to be regarded here for Gambit. They keep their pressure in the top lane, and they are completely spread off of this one. The bottom turret doesn't get taken down. Najin is playing a little too careful, but it looks like they will have eyes on it.
Because of that Baron buff, it gave Najin's sword the time to wait for Prey's flash back up. So even though, you know, Gambit got it out earlier, it's back up now. Prey's got a pretty good answer for escaping Alex in the next team fight. If Gambit aren't able to blow that flash with something else early, then they're going to really have to watch out for that Twitch damage comboed with the Moonfall from Expessen, getting everyone grouped up. Could be a very potent combo.
This is exactly what we expect to see here in the semis. Gold swings back and forth throughout the entire 30-minute game in favor of Gambit, in favor of Najin, and they hold it currently at 4-3 in turrets here at 31 minutes, but down in kills. So they're strategically now out-positioning and out-maneuvering objectives here over Gambit. They're staying away from this fight comp because since they were Moscow 5, they've loved to fight, and Najin realizes that.
You know, Voidal also has to be pretty careful right now too, because we talked so much about this assassination potential from Alex, but Nagne, he's got his Death by Grasp, so he could easily kill a support if he finds Voidal out by himself. He can easily burst him down.
The Aegis into the locket finished quite quickly. You see Diamond taking into consideration the magic that they are dealing with. The Abyssal Scepter was finished quite a long time ago. Now the Deathfire Grasp on Nagne, so they can instantly take somebody out that they want with that dive buddy composition of Diana Ari.
Yeah, that the Aegis of the Legion Aura, pretty much mandatory against this team.
Right.
They're also each getting Negatron cloaks of their own, which is leaving them a bit vulnerable to this Prey damage. If he can group up the team and Prey gets a few of those area effect auto attacks off with his ultimate, then it could easily just melt right through Gambit. Not a lot of armor on anyone.
I guess that's what you do, right? You build an AP team and allow your Twitch to shred everybody as they're trying to defend them.
What they're hoping is here for Gambit is that Alex just kills Prey, so there is no...
Gambit, yeah.
Yeah, Gambit's open, you know, there's no Prey on the map.
Find their way right through the
Prey's dead. That's what they're counting on. So they're just like, yes, everyone build magic
oh, wow.
defense.
Oh, look at him! Nagne gets taken down instantly! They didn't see that one coming. This is a choose-your-own-adventure
Prey's
for
still
Gambit.
up,
they are still going on to the next chapter. Prey goes down to the back line, or gets the takedown onto Alex Yeesh, I should say, using Flash. Using Cleanse. The second piercing arrow from Genja, spot on. Takes the apple off the head, and it looks like they're going to continue this fight. Darian went real deep on this one. It confused Najin a bit, but now as Gambit recollects themselves, they collect the turret, and they push Najin off the second tier.
Beautiful piercing arrow right there from Genja. Gets them not one, but two turrets here. They're going to definitely keep this pressure up.
Here again is the swing in gold, now in favor of Gambit. 2,000 gold there. The inhibitor turret to go down. 45 seconds on the timer for Baron to come back up. This will be enough for Najin. We may see both teams put on their dancing shoes for that one.
Also in that last team fight, let's give props where it's due. Darian with the taunt flash to start it off. The reason that teams have their top laners go with the taunt into flash after is that there's no answer. You don't have any time to react to a taunt flash, whereas if you flash and then taunt, the Ari right there, Nagne, with his flash available, could have flashed the taunt. Really good sight. Here it comes from Genja. That's right in the dome. Prey gets shot right in the face, and they go down. That's going to be the inhibitor as well there for Gambit. But really, yeah, the reason that you go taunt flash is there's no time for you to react, and they just 100% down Nagne right there.
That was
very, very well played.
An amazing play. If you saw in the first 10 seconds of that, Genja was still shooting the turret. And not that he was doing it wrong. He said, I just can't follow you guys. So that just goes to show the durability of Gambit right now, even without their 80 carry until 50% through the fight. This is scary for Najin now. They were forced into a fight that they have been avoiding, and we saw that Gambit took it over. Only 2,000 gold was grabbed there. Gambit has now swayed the turrets along with the gold. They still keep the kill score at 13-7. We'll see if Najin can go back to dancing around them and crushing down the objectives again.
And you know, last time Genja went this build here that he's going on Varus, Double Lift gave him a lot of flack and he was saying, oh, I'm pretty sure Genja was misclicking stuff. But he's obviously not misclicking because he bought it twice. And it showed with that last snipe there. Flat attack damage. He's getting a lot of power out of those piercing arrows. Now he's got a huge combo, both the Bloodthirster and Infinity Edge. Even though he doesn't have much attack speed, his attacks that he does hit are hitting very hard.
Focusing distortion boots as well. Quite interesting. Figure we would have seen that coming out, and especially in the top lane with most of your teleporters taking that distortion to continue teleporting more, but it goes on to Genja for this game, so he can keep himself safe.
Yeah, it's literally just for the flash.
Yep.
Because while Frey has to deal with a Fizz and Shen diving him, Genja's got the same thing. He's got a Diana coming at him, and as well an Ahri that could possibly reposition around him.
And a really big fight that helped Gambit out was the one that allowed them to buy, which is now a Spectral Cloak coming in for Elise. Those Negatrons helping in all of these fights.
This is dangerous. This is pretty dangerous
allows
here for
them
Gambit.
to dance these out. Voidal's doing this for his team right now. One goes down, but is it enough? They are at 25% HP on Baron. It's going to be a 4v5. They are going to have to fight this. They throw it down. Darian's the first one. Alex is in a perfect spot here. He gets the Zanyas onto Expression very early, but there's still a Guardian Angel there. They go for the Zanyas. This is going to be full damage now onto Alex. Full damage onto the rest of the team, but they can't get the focus down. The last bit of the Foxfire takes him down. Nagane makes his way home, but it's going to be Genja picking up Expression in the end.
Very, very sneaky job there by Alex. Staying in the Baron pit, hugging the wall, and then jumping right out onto Prey. Prey did not see that one coming. What an amazing assassination from Alex after they were already down a man. You're right, Voidal, he sacrificed his life for the team. It also got the Spirit Rushes, all three, out of Ahri, so it meant that she could not get around to the back by Genja. You see, Alex, he goes back into the Baron pit after this, away from Expesin. He was zoned out by that ultimate from Nunu, and then returns to kill Prey.
Dear. This is going to be the pincer move coming in on Nagane here. He's going to walk this one out. We'll see if he can get far enough. There's the one dash. The dash number 2. And number 3. There we go. He's going to change form. We're going to have Voidal come in. Voidal looks to pick up this one. He doesn't even get the slow power core down. They know they got it. It goes to Diamond. They pick it up. This Najin, it's not terrible that that happens, but they're not considering everything now. They want their farm more than they want to get back. They're trying to get to next core items, and it's putting them in some bad positions here.
Yeah, Gambit used a bit of time of their Baron buff there, running around, but they were rewarded with a kill, and it's a pretty long death timer at this point. So with all the lanes shoved up, they actually will get pressure fairly quickly here.
And I think Gambit has been able to itemize as Gambit does. The Guardian Angels now coming out on 2 of their members. We do have the Banshee's Veil actually coming in from Diamond, so he can really take that front end burster, the crowd control that's locking down his AD carrier, those damage dealers. So with this dive team, they're able to itemize almost too good for what they're up against now.
And we saw the early Guardian Angels coming out on Expesin because he wanted to get right in there with his Diana, but Gambit are starting to answer. They've got 2 now. They love those items.
Only a few more to go. Only a few more to go.
They will not let Najin's sword beat them at their own game.
Darian knows it's time, putting the blue elixirs in his inventory. You see that when the players are ready to make that fight count. You see the average game length for both of these teams here. Gambit has stretched it on a little bit, but they are in sure position now with the biggest lead we've seen in the game at about exactly 5,000. They have not stopped as they've grabbed the turret lead. They have continued to take those consecutively. This inhibitor on its first respawn now in the eyes of Gambit. Darian goes into the fight, possibly to the backside. They use the Spirit Rush right away. So much damage coming off the initial Playful Trickster drop. Going back in, Alex hits that United. Can they get the Stand United? Stand United actually comes over the Guardian Angel. It sticks with. Will they be able to go onto the fight? It's a little too much under the turret. They do get Expression down, but they are playing with fire right now.
That was so close due to the beautiful charm there from Nagne, catching Alex just in time, but Darian gets in as well, and the taunt covers Alex's escape.
Damage actually was a piercing arrow from Genja in the beginning. These guys have so much damage from everywhere. With the amount that Najin is grouping, even the piercing arrow is having the area of effect that it doesn't really do.
And Prey now down his flash cleanse, so he has to be very, very careful. 2 inhibitors as well. Gambit really just have to return to base to purchase. Oh, so the missed taunt is what started it off. And then interruptions, so many great peels here from Najin. But Gambit, they exit and then get right back in after the cleanses pop. let's look at this charm that catches Alex mid-urchin strike. Able to catch him out. Oh, it's not even here yet. This is after the second disengage.
There's more than one fight in every fight we've had in this game. Back and forth. The gold lead still sitting around 5K. Nobody really gained too much an advantage off of that one unless you consider the bot inhibitor and tower an advantage, which Gambit's liking. That lane being pressured so hard, and Gambit has turned this right on Najin after that Baron fight.
Looking really good for the Gambit fans right now. And all they have to do again is hold their pressure up in this top lane while the other two lanes of super minions are going to push. They almost have Darren Stand United available. So they're going to also have the ability to have him spread.
And looking at Alex's champions as well, being his first Fizz game, coming out pretty strong.
We talked about the huge champ pools of those mid laners. He's definitely played Fizz plenty over in, in Europe. So he's...
not first Fizz game overall, of course.
He's no stranger.
That champion. 7-3 and 7 there.
Oh!
Oh, the teleport coming in as well from Diana. Expection's going to be right on the backside. He dives in. They get one. Zanya's down. Alex is going to be out of the fight now. Kane goes down instantly. Can't help his team now. Nagane's in the fight. It looks like he may get bursted out. The shutdown coming in from Prey, but he is already on the ground asking for life support. Genja flashes in. 1-2 more attacks. They're going to focus now onto Expection. It's going to be a slow walkout for this one. The death timers are 50 seconds or plus, and Gambit's in the base.
Yeah, they're going to get his Guardian Angel after this. Two really, really good fight there for Gambit. Oh, he's going to burn down. Caster minions are...
Very good game here by Gambit. It looks like they got one Nexus turret. Watch not going to be able to do much, just able to do just that as the Nexus turrets go down. The Nexus will follow. Gambit with a definitive win after an amazing 50-50 game for the first 20 minutes.
Gotta say, great use of Shen by Darien and Fizz from Alex. Really every single member of Gambit doing their part right there. They told Genja you're gonna have to survive by yourself. He went and bought that Negatron cloak right after his Bloodthirster was done, and then immediately after that, he survived a 4-man gank, which they were able to turn around.
And showing his love for some pieces of the Triforce, getting the Phage in there, keeping himself even safer. Such great play by Gambit. They were bloodthirsty. Every time they would make Prey waste that cleanse, and they would still get back onto him with that dive team. Every time. And then the Gambit itemization of defense into your Guardian Angel. And when you have your Guardian Angel on more than one person, you're pretty good luck.
Everybody's always been talking about the mids from Europe. The mids from Europe. They're kind of crazy over there, but everyone respects their mid players. This is why everyone respects their mid players.
And we saw early game as well, Darien getting focused back in the top lane. They tried to shut down Shen early so he couldn't be too much of a threat when that level 6 came, but we saw level 1, he wasn't letting two waves go to them. He was trying to get in there, soak up experience. So he was level 2 along with them, level 3 along with them, and
he did his part to help Alex win that lane. The early Stand United, that was the reason why, Alex got the first kill.
All right, everyone, let's send it over to Quick Shot and the guys at the desk for their thoughts on Gambit's Game 1 win.
Thank you very much, Riv. The Pray and Spray wasn't quite enough for Sword in that game. Let's go back to picks and bans. I want to highlight the fact that we've seen Jungle Nunu here coming out from Sword. We've seen a Diana and an Ahri. I'm not entirely convinced by the Nunu pick in this composition. What were your thoughts?
I mean, the Nunu pick is interesting here. This looks much more like a comp from a couple of months ago, right? We didn't see that Trinity Force AD carry. The Ezreal, I thought they would pick up for Prey. But the Nunu, they just didn't do much with it in the early game. They didn't take advantage of Nunu's strengths. And even though I like Nunu a lot with Diana as well, because if Twitch dies, you have someone else to Blood Boil, and you can keep proccing that Diana passive. But I don't feel it takes advantage of Watch's mechanical strengths as a jungler, and is a really binary pick and didn't really offer a whole lot.
So CLG has a lot of experience running Nunu, and I don't like the fact that they ran Ahri and Thresh with Nunu, because if you're going to run an AD-centric comp, Thresh doesn't really provide that much peeling versus other supports like Sona or Nami, and Ahri really just has no synergy with a Nunu-based comp. You really want like an Orianna or something with a lot of AoE crowd control and ability to protect your AD.
I think Thresh offers enough peeling, but I think when you play Nunu and you end up in a 2v1 situation, you really need to put him top lane, help make the 3v1 really good, because Blood Boil and the Nunu, they can dive, or they can just safe push the tower down, and then they can start rotating around the map, get the bot lane bottom
so
again.
You didn't like the 2v2 tower defense?
No, I don't think Nunu should ever defend 2v2.
Well, he's got such bad wave clear, you don't want to put him in that situation.
Yeah, unless you actually are defending a 3v2 dive, he's not going to do much. And actually, to sort of get back to the Ahri Diana point as well, like that combination wanted to get onto Genja, but they didn't seem to have the right combination. They never cracked how safe he was. And the distortion boots to flash away from Diana, honestly, Genja never dying in that game was really impressive.
Ahri could have worked, but I feel like he played the matchup wrong. He should have maxed his W. I talked to Nukdog yesterday a lot, and he knows a lot about the Ahri matchup against Fizz. If Ahri maxes W, he can do a lot more. If Ahri didn't respect the Shen ulti either, went for a 1v1 against Fizz with Shen backing him up. So the main mistake there is also they're giving Darian Shen, they're giving Alexi a free Fizz. It didn't come together, and Nagne missed a lot of CS early in the laning phase. He really wasn't on the top of his game.
I don't know if that's like a nerves issue or something like that, but he was extremely unimpressive throughout this game. Missed a lot of his skill shots, missed a lot of that CS, and was kind of useless, honestly.
One of the people that did impress me in the game from Sword was Prey's Twitch. I did feel like it had a lot of damage, but it just felt like he was able to get singled out and jumped on by Alex many times during the course of those fights, at the Dragon Pits and in the lanes. And it just didn't feel like Sword could stay standing long enough for that spray and pray to actually rip through all of Gambit.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I actually wanted to get a specific block just to fanboy over how good Prey is, because the dude, got caught and then said, just kidding, I'm not caught anymore. The cleanses, the flashes away. He almost, baited in Gambit to a few of those fights, and he put out consistently very, very high damage. And again, Double, if you were talking about running an AD-centric composition, and in Prey as a player, you can do that around, and he himself played it so well. Problem was there wasn't enough follow-up for his damage, it seemed.
And the big problem is that he's up against Fizz, and he's running Cleanse on Twitch, which is not really a problem. It was right for him to run Cleanse on Twitch, but he has no real support, like shields or heals coming with him. So basically, when Fizz gets on him, he's ripping through a base HP Twitch with no backup. And all he has is Cleanse.
His team really needed an exhaust there, and I think his item build wasn't optimal either. I don't think he shouldn't have opted for the Blade of the Ruined King and just went for straight damage. Used his good positioning to get a really good ulti off.
Yeah, and just a final note on this composition right here, too. The Diana pick, Diana was very powerful a few months ago, but ever since the Spirit Visage changes, this comp that we're looking at, Twitch is very poor at Siege, so they had no way to take down towers as 5. So at that point, you're relying on a split push. When you're playing against Shen, who's going to build Spirit Visage, you have to be very far ahead on Diana to actually win out in that split push battle, and I just don't see Diana in this composition for this use as viable as it was before the new Spirit Visage came in.
So let's talk a little bit about Gambit while we have some time. I was pretty impressed by the way that they played their matchup. It was fairly slow. I actually think if you think of all the fights overall, they tended to come out ahead in most of the bigger engagements after the second Dragon fight onwards. And we've seen them actually picking up a lot of Negatron cloaks very early on. They were just littered down the rows. Genja even going, Bloodthirster Phage into Eye Edge, just relying on Varus's passive for attack speed. Genja continues to do what Genja does and trends off the wall those items. What did you think of their itemization and the decision making?
They had a lot of respect for the AP assassins, which was good, but their mid game was still really, really sloppy. They went again for a 50-50 smite, and this time they lost it, and it could have cost them the game, which they had pretty much 100% in their control.
Yeah, I think Gambit's downfall will eventually be their decision making, because they go for a lot of risky stuff that won't fly against a more coordinated team. But yeah, they definitely outplayed Sword as the game went on. Every Dragon fight you saw, just incredible plays from Diamond and Alex, and just overall their coordination just seemed a lot more solid than Sword.